Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Delta Green tabletop role-playing game rules by Arc Dream Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this podcast will include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, military organizations, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or redacted, is completely coincidental. My name is Michael Dallan, and for tonight's game, I will be your handler. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your handler this evening, Michael Dallan. My pronouns are he, him. And we are back with OSEL as we continue our investigation and a volume of secret faces for you in our Impossible Landscape series. We'd like to thank you for listening and joining us here as even more fun begins. At the top of the show, as I always like to do, we'd like to thank our Patreon supporters. You can join them at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. We'd like to invite you to reach out to our YouTube channel and then check us out over on Twitch. The Old Ways Twitch is where you can see us, some of us, live and do strange things on the internet instead of hearing us. But more on that later. For now, we'll get to cast introductions to my right.
Hey, this is Miranda, and I play Dr. Aaron Weber, usually that kind of doctor, but sometimes not. Well, the other kind of doctor. And I'm just really looking forward to many more opportunities to explore my knowledge of the yellow symbol.
You know what? I look forward to you doing that. Next to Dr. Weber.
Hey, everyone. This is your friend Nate. I'm playing Special Agent Elliot Winters, about to enter into a rest and recuperation home for fellow agents that feels very wholesome. But on my mind right now is the fact that there's a lot more clockwork nonsense in my life than I ever wanted or expected. I'm hoping this isn't a trend, because I really don't like it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Everything in life is circular at some point. Next to Agent Winters.
Hi, this is Allie, and I play Director Joanne Hart, and we're gonna probably explore a spooky house. Well, asylum, but they don't refer to it as that.
I'll have you know that the Dorchester is a top-notch facility, and so far you haven't seen a single spook. But then again, you haven't been inside yet, so we'll see how it goes. Last one was certainly not least.
Hi, my name is Tegan Gilbert, and I'm playing Young Buck, Medium Buck, Brett Hawking. And you know what? I want some brioche.
Why?
Just got a craving. I got a craving for baked goods.
Good to know. So when last we left our agents, they had entered into Dorchester House. It is a psychiatric facility in the Massachusetts area, specifically just outside of Boston. And they are looking to speak with Dr. Dallan. A card that they were given from a gentleman they met at a restaurant, and hopefully be able to track down the agents that are supposedly lost. So the facility is seemingly fairly modern. There are some aspects of it that look probably from the 70s and 80s, but a lot of the interior structure here has been redone. It's been updated probably to a late 90s corporate motif. You get a lot of office building feel from this place, especially those of you who work in and commonly work inside of office buildings. Of course, Agent Hart, and certainly in some respects, Agent Winters. You have an opportunity past security to essentially walk down a hallway, which is covered with pictures of the facility from its original years. You see some of the history. You see the original boys' school that was built by the Boston Catholic Archdiocese. You see a picture that shows when the Southwest wing was converted into this gymnasium. And then eventually when it was repurchased, and then this facility, this private hospital, was renovated and built, and it reopened just before the close of 1989. And I suppose the year, that picture, when you see 1989, you realize that this place opened like six years before the business with Abigail Wright even started. You all know that it specialized in psychotic behavior, stemming from PTSD. That's sort of its calling card. What lays beyond that hallway is a front desk and a single, well-appointed but exceedingly sturdy door. And so you see a counter with a plexiglass front to it. And there has been some attempt to make it look tasteful and non-institutional. But especially for you, Agent Winters, this place feels like it has a singular purpose. You get this direct feeling like you're entering a hardened facility.
Is this an open intercom handler, or is there a button or something you got to press?
It does appear that this is a open intercom. There's no button to press on this side.
Oh, ma'am, we're from agency, and we're here to see Dr. Dallan about the 4 patients of yours that went missing August 28th. We're here to investigate. Dr. Dallan, please.
She looks at you and nods slowly, then goes to her clipboard. I'll get the nurse for you.
Is the doctor available, or is he out today?
No, he's in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, his car's outside.
You get a look from this lady at the desk.
Do you have the feeling he was expecting us?
That would be surprising.
She steps away from the desk. Behind her, you can see probably a 4-desk office cubicle setup. There's a door on either side of this main space, and there's probably a fairly well-built young man, probably in his early 20s, behind here wearing a orderly uniform. He's taking out the trash.
And it's a desk. Is it like a plexiglass wall kind of thing too? And so we could see through it into where they're at and into their pit?
Yeah, so the plexiglass is probably more like 6 foot wide by maybe 4 or 5 feet tall. You get a real good look back there. Like there's a counter at counter height, right? Full ADA requirement there. And then glass all the way up to the ceiling. And you can tell that the plexiglass is reinforced. You can tell by the cut of the intercom speaker that the plexiglass is probably 2.5 to 3 inches thick. Like it's pretty serious.
Hey, Hawkins, you get the sense this thing's set up as much to keep folks in as to keep folks out. It's a serious operation they got going here.
I feel like that's the case with some psychiatric facilities. I mean, if individuals, especially in our line of work, have been exposed to things that make them a danger to themselves and others, then I feel like it would be natural to have to protect the others from themselves.
Correct.
Yeah, what the doc said.
That's neat. My experience has not been that, Dr. Weber. My experience has been wings sometimes are locked down where dangerous folks are, or maybe criminals or people under protection, but the front door is usually a little bit less
Lockdown.
The guardhouse that we went through, that reminds me of a military facility more than a hospital so far.
You see a woman approach the nurse's station along with the front desk nurse. She's probably 5'6", 5'7", certainly Latina woman, dark brown, probably a little bit of gray in her hair as well. She approaches the station. Good morning. If you'll just step around here. She points towards the door.
Absolutely. Is the door open? I'll try the handle.
You try the handle, and for a moment the handle doesn't move. And then you hear a really hard buzzing sound, and then you feel the door give way.
I'm going to glance over at Brett at that, and then turn the handle and go through.
Yeah, she's broad-faced, dark-haired. She has green eyes. When you meet her on the other side of the door, her eyes sort of pierce into you. They're really bright. She wears scrubs. No, she's not anything size-wise, you don't really. She's not really intimidating by any means. She extends her hand to you, Agent Winters.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming out. I was sorry to bother you.
No, that's perfectly all right. I'm Nurse Esther Samagina.
Miss Samagina, this is a little out of the ordinary. We're sort of a cross-agency task force, and we've got an interest in in 4 folks that went missing. It all stems back a number of years ago. We had a case that we were investigating. It didn't end up how we wanted it to end up. And some details of the folks that went missing from this facility. I'm sure we're familiar with this facility, as I'm sure you are as well. Overlap with this case that we were looking at a number of years ago. And so I was hoping we could maybe get a conversation with Dr. Dallan, or maybe see some of the room. No, I'm sure that they've been cleaned up and everything, but if there was any remnants from the 4 folks, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to be off trying to find on our own Cal, Lila, Kim, and Ray. And I'm hoping that we can figure out some places to start, some information here, because we're getting pretty worried about them, as I'm sure you are too.
We are very worried about them. She gives you an earnest look. It's distressing to lose any patients, but especially patients which need assistance. It's it's got everyone worried.
And it's pretty, I've done missing person. It's pretty unusual for folks to go missing out of a facility like this. This is a pretty serious lockdown, and not a single one of them. No information since then, no sightings, no nothing.
I'm sure that the doctor can inform you more, but I can tell you that no one has seen them. And I agree with you that is one of the more troubling things when it comes to this, is it seems as if they vanished, and we both know that that's not possible. It's just simply not. So either someone knows something and they are simply not saying anything, or I don't know. I can't explain why. But let me walk you through here, and we'll go to the doctor's office. You can walk through this facility, at least a portion of it. She gestures around as you walk, and she says, this first floor is relatively low on security features. We have, of course, strict policies involved with contraband. That's why we were so thorough and before we let any of you in the facility. It's of all of the irregularities or contraband that comes in, generally it is visitors that start those problems. Although we have had staff in the past who've taken pity on some guests and gotten them something that they shouldn't. The first floor here is the mall, as we would call it. It's for the patients who have progressed the most. They are generally good-mannered and need very little other than their daily medication and their daily therapy sessions, or casual comforts which keep them within the spaces that they need to operate. Of course, the facility is under complete surveillance at all times, and so that has been the other troubling portion about people vanishing, is if they would have gone somewhere, we would have known something. But the floor here is the only floor that connects both wings of the facility.
What's your patient success rate here? So once they make it to the first floor, then things are good for approximately 8 weeks or 16 weeks, or probably some multiple of 4 weeks, and then they're like good to go back on their way. Or
we do release patients after they complete a specialized program that Dr. Dallan has created.
Mm-hmm.
He's been quite revolutionary, of course, in this field specifically, dealing with heavy PTSD and other traumatic events. In general, it's funny you should mention 4 weeks. Of course, it's very common in our field to use programs like that. Dr. Dallan's facility usually uses a 16-week course with the patients.
Yeah.
And after that, provided that they have set goals and they have made those goals and changes, they are released into secondary housing or transition programs that transition them from that to the life that they hope to gain outside of the facility.
Transition programs run by the same people. Transition programs, it's the same. Like everyone knows everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there are other facilities which are much more, she smiles, they have more vacation time.
Oh, okay. And if someone needed your services, do you have like a pamphlet or a handout or something?
Certainly.
Okay. Wow. That sounds really like you have a really great program here.
Yes. It's private, and so it allows us to have a more curated method of dealing with the traumas. But we take in very few patients.
Mm-hmm.
We choose to be very selective about the patients that we take because Dr. Dallan believes it's important to be able to help one individually.
What is your long-term patient percentage look like? People who are here for longer than that 16 weeks?
I think I'll let the doctor divulge the percentage numbers. It's his facility, and we like to make sure that he has a hold of all of those.
Okay.
I can be certain that none of you have a press pass, right?
No.
The last time we were at a newspaper place, they arrested us, so probably not.
That's neither here nor there. We don't need to worry much about that. Handler, if I'm looking around, are there any patients that I can see? And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to wander away from the group, but I do want to try and get a reading on the kind of, if I'm seeing any similarities, any consistencies between the patients.
It's probably human. What's your human, though?
60.
All right, I won't make you roll. 60 is a pretty high human. You got a good read of people. Most of the people down here on the first floor seem to be fairly well adjusted, relatively speaking. Most of them are quiet. Some people are watching television. There's a few people reading books. But you can tell that there's some similarities between the people here as far as how they dress. People are certainly given clothes to wear. No one wears anything that is too provocative. Although there is a gentleman in the corner who's reading a book who has pulled up his shirt to make it more like to expose his midriff. You're not sure why. You should see a collection here of both male and female patients. You hear a radio hiss at the nurse's side. And you hear, we got a bump up on 2. It looks like Caroline bumped Edgar. I'm going to go deal with it. She picks the radio up and gives a very crisp, acknowledged.
Do you have to take care of that, ma'am?
No, the staff upstairs will take care of it.
Got it. Come.
She leads you down into the center of the facility and then down an administrative hallway where she uses a key card to gain access to a back office space. There is a security guard that's sitting in a chair near this door.
And the doors, are they labeled? Are they numbered? Are they unmarked?
It's a wood door, standard wood door that you would see in a hospital. There's glass in the center. It's cut out in a square shape. And then the glass seems to be, just by looking at it, you'd say the glass is probably pretty well reinforced. It's not plexiglass. And then there's a tag on the door that says administration. Once she gets you through the door, she takes you down a short hallway, probably about 10, 15 feet or so, and then cuts right. And then you see an office, like an expansive office. And the door is open. And you see on the door, as you walk closer to it, you see the nameplate that says Dr. Richard Dallan.
Oh, there's our guy.
So the office is quite something. The office here has a beautiful set of windows on one side of it. It looks like a classic English study. Wooden floor. There's a stone fireplace in here. The windows give you a really nice lookout on the nearby river. The desk that Dr. Dallan is sitting at writing is almost comically thin. It's very French, minimalist. And he doesn't seem very suited to it. He's quite large.
Does he look like he expected us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When he looks up for running, he says, I'll be right with you. Just let me finish this.
Okay.
He's tall, a little burly built. He's balding, Caucasian man, gray, short, sort of curly hair that is all but vanished on top. His glasses are a little oversized, black, thick. They sort of enlarge his eyes a little bit. He wears suspenders, slacks, and a short sleeve but button-down shirt, no tie. You can see that there is hanging on the coat rack over there a Boston Red Sox windbreaker. And he's wearing sneakers. He's pitch perfect office casual in the mid 2015s. When he stands up to greet you, he puts his pen down. He stands up. You realize that Dr. Dallan's about 2 meters tall. Technically speaking, he's about 6'6".
That's a tall dude.
He smiles broadly and he gives you a very warm and engaging welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you coming. You see the nurse sort of slip back and cling to the doorway. But
You're a pretty big guy. You play football?
a long time ago,
Not basketball, football.
That's the sport where they put all of the skinny tall kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dr. Dallan, so happy to meet you. Thanks for seeing us. Elliot Winters, and I'm going to give him a charisma 70 smile and put my hand out to shake it.
oh, there you go. Yeah, he shakes your hand. He's, again, warm, very, very happy to see you. He looks at Nurse Saginaw and says, that'll be all, Esther. Thank you. Shut the door. And then if you have Humint 60 plus, I'm going to give you a roll.
Can we roll if our human is 10?
You can, absolutely, but it's just understand that it's difficult.
Okay. But I like to achieve.
I've rolled a 71 over 60.
I've rolled a 93 over 60.
I also failed.
I have a human of 50, and I've rolled a 25.
Okay. You get the impression, just as you're adjusting to everybody moving around and meeting, you move right and you get a look just for a moment at Nurse Saginaw, and you realize that you're not sure she liked being dismissed from the room after the door shut.
I'm not going to mention anything about that. I'll just keep a note of it.
After the door shuts, the doctor exhales a little bit. I appreciate you all coming. It's quite the situation we have.
Tell us about it.
Now, it's my understanding that you were briefed before you came, but no matter.
Hearing it directly from you will help confirm everything that we've already heard, especially if you have more information than what we were given.
What I can tell you is that late August 28th, just after 8 p.m., we noticed that some of the patients had vanished from their rooms on the 3rd floor. The building went into a soft lockdown procedure after the first one was found missing. After a few minutes, we found another patient missing, and the building went into a hard lockdown and notified security that they needed to begin their search.
All right. And what's the difference between soft and hard lockdown for this facility?
A soft lockdown puts every floor on alert. It alerts every orderly that there is a situation to deal with. And it also firms up all of the security footage and the security officers who are paying attention to cameras. It basically calls attention to that something is happening, that something is going on. A hard lockdown means that the security system here doesn't allow people to pass through doors unless they have administrative keys. Certain key cards will stop working until it's approved.
Okay, thank you.
By 8:22, we discovered that there were 4 patients missing.
8:22 p.m.?
That's correct.
And I'm sorry, maybe I missed. When did you find the first? And who was the first one that you found missing?
Just after 8 p.m., I think it was, he steps back over to his desk. 11 minutes after 8. the first patient was found missing.
And that was who?
Leah Mack was the first patient missing.
Now, would it be precise to say Leah was the first one that was missing, or Leah was the first one that was noticed?
That's a good point. The first one noticed. We actually don't know who the first patient was missing because we have no footage of them leaving.
Okay, we need to dive into that in a second. But that's the whole thing. Has this? I'm not trying to take this anywhere, but have you lost people like this before? Is this the thing that's ever happened before here?
Never. No sign of breach at any doors or in any walls. The computer log recorded no door entries between the time the first patient was found missing and the last patient was found to have been missing. So we know on our security system every time a door is opened or closed. It's a function of the way the security system works. Everything is put into an audit log, and it's because of the enormous insurance liability for not being able to show that.
Is there possible that there was a systems breach or a failure?
He seems to consider the question for a little bit, Hart. Maybe 10 seconds. And then says, I've interviewed and had our security personnel interviewed. I don't believe any of them would have breached the system for these patients or edited the audit logs.
I don't mean human error, I mean computer error.
Is it possible? Yes. Computers are built by people. They're fallible.
Correct. Have you had an outside source come in to confirm whether or not the system went down at any point?
No.
Was it something you considered?
We don't tend to allow outsiders inside the facility for, not to mention HIPAA reasons, but security reasons.
What about like family visitation days or things like that, or like arts and crafts visitors to facilitate arts and crafts?
What about them?
Well, they come in, right? You have visitation hours or visitors sometimes?
We certainly do have events and visitors. They are restricted to the first floor.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, there are possible entry points indoors.
Of course. I'm sorry. And you are?
Dr. Aaron Weber, the best and brightest of us, these four. 4 plus me, 3 plus me.
I'm going to side eye just a little bit okay.
Sorry, continue on with the questioning.
He looks to sort of the group.
You said every single door is logged, including the patient's. So if a patient's door opens, that's logged as well?
Yes. It's critical to have door status modules on every door.
So not a single one of these patients' doors showed as opening or closing. No one showed up, as you mentioned quickly, on the camera going out. Windows? What's the window security like?
All the windows in the facility are secure, although there are windows on the first floor because of fire code that have to be regularly opened if necessary. But the facility windows on the third and on the second floor they have an internal locking mechanism which patients cannot actuate. They can be opened, but only under facility control.
Man, you've got that classic locked room mystery, but you got it times 4.
It's troubling.
Was there anything that linked these 4 together? Did they come in together? Were they part of the same operation? Anything like that you know of?
You can see him genuinely look around, almost like the thing that people do when they want to make sure that no one else is listening. It's something you've seen people do for decades. And he says, it's my understanding, based off the information I was given upon their arrival, that they were all part of a team. He seems to offer the word. And that they experienced certain things which left them very troubled. It's my understanding that they read certain books or texts which affected them.
Oh, we are very familiar with that particular situation. You yourself have not by chance, you yourself haven't come across any of that?
No.
Okay.
No. Their articles originally, when they come in a few years ago, were sifted through, but there were no books or books of that nature, and nothing written. And all of their effects were turned over to the proper authorities. Again, he seems to like mealy mouth that word.
The nurse spoke of just these treatments that you've developed to help them cope with the things that they've read in books or seen on or in books. And so I'm just kind of wondering, like, what these treatments entail, if you have any research studies, or if someone wanted to do the activities at home, what that would look like.
I'm certain that I can provide you with some framework of the process and the procedures that I used.
It just kind of sounded like it was a groundbreaking thing, like not a normal, typical thing. So I was just kind of wondering what's kind of rundown on what that entails.
Well, I simply take it down to the basic level of being able to connect with a patient and understand where their disturbances come from, and then cultivate a foundation of being able to communicate with them. I find very often that patients really want to reach out and they want to have someone empathize with what they're going through, to understand and to deconstruct the problems that they're having. And then, of course, the standard pitfalls that anyone in my business is going to run into, which is they're going to want to lean on certain crutches and they're going to want to circle around specific things. And it's important to be able to bring people out of that cycle. I could certainly provide you with some paperwork if you wanted to review them. Although the studies are not as published yet. And so I'd want to make sure that you kept it to yourself.
Yeah, but they are publishable in the future, right?
Yes, in the future.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to take a look at any information you can provide with Myth.
Certainly.
So for all of the individuals who went missing, would it be possible for either you or an orderly or a nurse or someone to escort me to the rooms? I know that you said that all of the personal effects were removed, but I'd like to take a look around anyway, if that's possible.
I'd like to talk to people in the rooms near their cells.
All right. Well, there are certain procedures for us going upstairs that we can go through. I would have an orderly with you and likely a nurse at all times. As you can imagine, I cannot give you unfettered access to every room. Our staff will have to be with you, especially when you go into the missing patient's room, just to be clear.
Add all the fetters you need.
If they're doing like a more specific investigation, looking into things, perhaps I could get a broader tour of the facilities to see if I can see any bigger entry points, or like what the cafeteria and recreational facilities are like.
Well, certainly. Where did you go to school, Doctor?
Where did I go to school? Yale?
Yale. Very well. Fantastic. Winters, while you're in there, you do see that he has quite the collection of rocks. In fact, one corner of the room has a large, custom-made glass and velvet display case. There's probably 25 to 30 rocks, all labeled, small hand-printed cards, dates and locations. There's even tiny little drop spotlights on every single one of them.
So I'll wander over there while they're trying to divvy up work assignments. Take a look, see what's going on. Maybe I'll call out to the good doctor. Oh, see, quite a mineralogist. This is a great collection. See what I can see.
You see some pieces that you've seen before. Red beryl, obsidian, fluorite. You see some quartz, certainly. And you see a couple of rocks you've never seen before.
So as I'm seeing this normal stuff, I'm like, this is some pedestrian mall shit, is what I'm thinking in my head, but I would never say it out loud, but then get to some of this more interesting stuff.
You find a little marker and a little card for this really beautiful blue and green rock that he has. It's probably no bigger than, say, maybe 2 or 3 fingers, but it says that the card says it's blue. It says blue halite from the Magdalene Islands, and it's really striking.
I might lean in, try and get a closer look at this. And, Doctor, I ain't never heard of blue halite. This is gorgeous.
He nods and steps over. Yes, quite a passion of mine. Really one of the most beautiful isometric crystals that I've ever seen.
Now, do you collect this stuff yourself at the source, or do you buy that stuff, or how do you get it?
He chuckles. When he does, he has a genuinely sort of throaty chuckle you can hear from his chest. Yes, I've taken my vacation to places like that, and whether it's island or I've been to France to dig up treasures.
So I'm going to lean in, and when I lean in, I'm also going to look back to see if any of my compatriots have decided to rummage through the shit on his desk, maybe, or anything, while I've got this guy talking about his dumb rocks. And then I'm going to go back in. I'm like, well, this is. Can I touch it? Is this like stuff you're not supposed to touch, like in a museum? Can I hold this stuff?
Oh,
I just want to feel this, like the crystal, and see, like, is it like glass?
Sort of. He reaches in and picks out this stone. If you have held, rock salt, essentially, that's really what halite is. But this stuff is colored, and there's some deep sort of purple veins in the bottom of this that run up from the base to, further up the columns here.
So while Elliot is heavily distracting this guy, I want to take a look at least on the desktop and see if there's an appointment book or a calendar or something that's open.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try to just do a cursory search without rustling a lot of papers and stuff, trying to be kind of casual about it.
Oh, okay. You're going to fly casual. I understand. Okay. Yeah. So what is Agent Hart's search?
50.
So on his desk, you notice two things. One, you see his appointment book, and his appointment book had an appointment in it, and then it has been viciously scribbled out, hard. And then there is an appointment it's all horizontal paper. It's been horizontal line paper. And right next to it, there has been a note added that says missing persons investigation. And it lines up with the time of your arrival.
So he knew we were coming, even though we didn't say anything specifically calling ahead about us coming?
Seems that way.
Okay, that's not creepy at all. I hate that. So that's on today. So the original appointment that's scribbled out really, really hard, did it rip the paper or anything, or is it just kind of?
No, he didn't have he didn't have a anger management issue. It's just scribbled out so that way you can't see what's written there.
Okay, and it's on today's date as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said there was a couple things I know. So the appointment book, and then what else?
The other thing that you notice is that there is a Post-it note that's just to the left side of his notebook that says, "Be prepared for tonight."
So I'm going to step back from his desk in case he turns around fairly quickly. I hate everything that I'm doing to myself. I'm going to ask, so would it be possible for me to take a look at the rooms specifically later tonight? During the time that you noticed the patients were missing? I'd like to be able to get a more exact look of what the circumstances were like, Doctor.
He looks over and looks a little confused. Look at them at night? Certainly, it's possible. I mean, you could see them right now if you'd like. He seems to laugh.
Sure, but sometimes seeing the areas at the time that it was noticed might give more insight.
Yeah, she's right, Doctor. We've seen some stuff that is time sensitive.
Are you saying we should have a sleepover?
No, we are not saying that at all, Dr. Weber.
Oh. Okay.
He walks back over towards his desk. I can get you a tour of the upper levels. I'll have Nurse Samagina come back in here. He goes to his desk and pushes a button on his phone.
That reminds me, Doctor, I would love to sit down and have a longer chat with your head nurse when we get a chance, maybe while they're checking out the rooms and such.
Sure, if she's amenable to it. She keeps pretty busy. His door opens just as he finishes the sentence. The nurse is back. Esther, would you take them up to 2 and 3 and show them around? She nods. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
As we're walking, I'll say, Nurse, I talked to Dr. Dallan, and if maybe we could sit down for 10, 15 minutes and I'd like to pick your brain a little bit more on this. In my experience, folks with in your role, you notice everything that folks like maybe the good doctor don't. They're focused on other things a lot of times, but I just would love to get you. We really would love to find these folks, and I feel like we might be able to work together on that, figure that out.
That reminds me what he was just saying. Did they have any friends in the facility? Other patients they got along well with? Or didn't?
There are patients here where they interacted with, certainly. As far as got along with, as you can imagine, some of the patients here at the facility are not yet completely prepared to move forward with their own development, and so they can be difficult to deal with.
So, kind of loners, kind of stuck to themselves, not really strong feelings about anyone else, negative or positive. No regular partners at clay model hour or,
I'll introduce you to Mr. Gist. Certainly that he'll have something to say about them.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and write down Mr. Gist.
You get into an elevator, which has a security guard outside of it, and you head up to the second floor.
Security guard's name is?
Oh, he doesn't have a name. He doesn't have a name tag.
He doesn't have a name tag?
Nope.
Does he look like he works out?
He does look like he's in good shape.
Oh, that's okay.
The elevator doors open, and you open into a little bit more, I guess cloistered is the right word for it, but the hallways here are a little thinner. Everything here looks a little bit more compressed than it did on the floor below. And there's a sign as you get out on the second floor that reads in very, very easy to read lettering: no cell phones, no drugs, no weapons. 3 distinct lines. Esther turns to the 4 of you and says, "You're perfectly fine to continue on with your phones. Just please keep them out of sight." The patients on the second and third floor are not allowed to have access to the internet or access to their phones. And so we would want them hoping they could make calls out through you.
No Facebook for people on the third floor. Got it.
Yes, internet access is also not allowed. Not just Facebook. You get buzzed through a door. The heavy wood doors from downstairs are replaced by doors that have what look like aluminum or metal shells. Like when she opens the door, you see that the door is made of wood, but it's a door that has a casement on it. Yeah, so you can tell that it takes Esther a little bit of oomph to pull this door open. And then inside the door, standing directly inside of it, there is a orderly. Not a security guard, an orderly. See a really well-built orderly. He has close-cut brown hair. He looks to be probably in his mid-20s, Caucasian male, maybe light facial hair. say maybe he's probably just didn't shave today. And he looks at the 5 of you as you walk in. You see he has a gym bag in his hand. He nods at the nurse and then acknowledges you all. Coming through, he says.
Oh, sorry.
He gives you a look, Doctor.
Sorry. Is this your floor? Is this you're giving us the tour?
Esther looks over at you, Weber, and says, No, Richard is he's just probably getting to his duties, right?
Oh.
You see Richard, the aforementioned orderly, sort of grumbles and heads to a portion of the hallway and opens a door and walks into what looks like a supply closet.
Does he smell like cigarettes?
Actually, he smells like Ben Gay.
Oh, he's gym bro.
You get taken into a centralized room, and this centralized room does appear to be for orderlies and nurses, and you see a man in the middle chair that's not dressed like a nurse or an orderly. He's in a black polo and black pants, and he is sitting behind a desk that has several monitors at it. And Esther says, Michael, this is a group of people who are going to be helping us with the missing patients. He stands up and walks over to you.
Michael, you in charge of security? And I have my hand out to shake it.
Yeah, he reaches out and shakes your hand.
You're the one watching the screens for this floor?
Yeah, for this floor.
So Dr. D downstairs, he mentioned that when these folks all went missing in August, you didn't see nothing. You didn't see them come out. No one left their rooms on the cameras, is what he said. Is that true?
As far as I can tell, that's what's true.
I mean, you have tapes, right? You can run these back?
Yeah, no, we're way beyond tapes now. Everything is digital here. He points over to the counter, and you can see that under one of the counter spaces, there's a rack of like Blade servers that are humming very quietly. Yeah, all this is digital. It's all 1080p in here.
Modern. That's easier to... You ever notice that's easier to get into and modify and change? All that digital stuff. I sort of like that reel-to-reel because it took some physical work to mess with that stuff.
Yeah, we don't cut tape anymore. That's sort of nice. It saves the planet, right? Less plastic.
Yeah, so they say. I'd love to sit down with you in a second and maybe you can show me that footage. I'd like to see everything for myself and run an investigation, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, if you want to sit down, we can go through everything that happened on the 28th, and we can go from place to place. You'll see our dumbasses running around trying to find people.
No, that's a terrible thing. 4 people disappearing at the same time. It makes no sense. So, I'd expect to see you running around, shaking your heads. We've been in that spot.
All right, well, when you're done with whatever you're doing with Nurse, stop back in.
Does it make sense, maybe, out of character, 4 of us, like, what are the plans? Everyone wants to do something here, so maybe lay out what we want to do and see how we organize this.
I mean, I like talking to people. I got high human, so like not the metagame, but for my character, I feel like I really excel at talking to people. And I got to tell you, Brett is a little excited to talk to people who have to live on level 3. I mean, this just sounds like a good time. He's ornery, and he knows the people on this floor are going to respond to that.
I also feel like I'm really good at talking to people. And also, like, I would like a tour of the facility, not for retirement planning purposes, but also maybe for retirement planning purposes.
But as someone who lives in one of these places or works in one of these places?
Sure.
Yeah, see, I was hearing some of that in that questioning. I was getting a little worried.
It sounds nice. If you talk to some folks one-on-one, you should ask them if they know about the yellow symbol.
I mean, and I'm going to lean into Dr. Weber, and I was like, that was actually the plan.
Just glad we're on the same page, Buck.
Well, the plan is, so we think that there is, there's yellow things going on up here. So we're gonna I do need to ask some people.
And I had that thought talking to the doctor because the doctor was saying people read books and then they ended up here. And I thought to myself, I wonder if some of these people have seen the yellow symbol, not because I want to spread it, even though I do, but just to see if they know about it.
So you want to talk to like their room neighbors and stuff like that, or people that might know them. That's what Brett wants. Weber wants to do a tour. Allie Hart. What is Allie Hart doing?
So I want to look in the rooms during the day and at night, partially because of the sticky note and also partially because what I told the doctor was accurate and that things look different in general, and seeing things the way that they are essentially interpreted in like their more in the state of which something fucky happened is probably going to look different than it does in the middle of the day at like 2:00 in the afternoon, like it is now. So seeing the contrast between the rooms during the day and then at night when the patients were discovered to be missing could make a difference, because what if there is a yellow symbol, a yellow sign in the room and it like doesn't show up during the day? What if it shows up at night? And mind you, I get that like if I specifically am looking for the yellow sign, that would be metagaming, but that's the example I'm using. Stuff can be revealed in, shit like that during different times of day or under different circumstances. And since we don't know exactly the circumstances under which they went missing, it's worth looking at it from multiple angles. And that sometimes means, looking at the same areas 2 or 3 times under.
I don't think anyone could blame any of us for looking at things at different times, wondering, I wonder if it'll be different at this other time. So I certainly wouldn't blink at that.
I'm expecting intellectual contagion. I feel like that's a reasonable expectation because of how our characters like know how at least some of the stuff has been working in other places we've been.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be aware that like with the like trauma that came from the night floors, that stuff during the day looked okay and things at night looked really bad. And that's kind of where Hart's thinking is naturally anyway, like things are gonna look different at night. So yeah, basically I figured I went upstairs and I'm waiting specifically to go to the rooms to see them during the day and like take notes and stuff.
Yeah. Can I roll with Hart? If that's cool with Hart.
I mean, I don't care. I'm not going to be talking to people with you. Not that, like, I have a 15 human, so it's not that I'm, like, really shitty at talking to people, but, like, she's stuck in her head of, like, the facility itself seems too clean and the rooms might hold something more.
Okay, so the plan then, as I see it, is that Elliot's going to talk to the security guy on 2. He's going to review tapes with him or footage with him. Hart has expressed an interest in speaking with or investigating patient rooms or the missing patient rooms. Is that correct?
The missing patient rooms, not talking to patients.
Right. Missing patient rooms is where you would like to go. So Weber and Buck, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? The nurse is willing to, obviously no one here is going to be left to their own devices, right? So she tells you, Hart, that you'll have an orderly with you or someone with you to make sure that you're safe and that the staff, the facility is also protected.
No problem.
I really did want a tour because I think there's more to security investigation than just directly investigating the surroundings, directly surrounding where the people went missing. There's a lot of other, they had to get out somehow. So I think really just taking a nice leisurely tour around the facilities might help get a bigger picture. I want to see the forest outside of the trees, not inside the trees, or whatever the saying is.
Okay. She's happy to give you a tour of the 2nd and 3rd floor as you go. That's not an issue. Buck, what about you?
Were all our missing people on the 3rd floor? Or were some of them on the 2nd?
No, everybody's on the 3rd floor that was missing. That is where they were from.
Straight to 3rd floor. Bunkmates if they share a room, neighbors if they don't.
Okay. So that will split the agents up a little bit as we go. For now, though, we are going to call a close to this episode as our investigation of the Dorchester house continues. I hope you are enjoying your stay, however brief or long it may be. So thank you and have a wonderful night.